everyone, it's Caroline here from Aussie Cards and Crafts, and I'd like to thank you for joining me today. What I'd like to do today is something that I actually started last week, but because of time, just time is my enemy at the moment, I didn't get a chance to get it finished, but I did make this one last week. It's a pop-up box card. It sits like that. You can write your messages on there. You can even put a greeting on the back there. This is one that I saw online from Iced Images. I've changed it slightly. Her measurements are pretty much the same as mine, but some of the decorating tips that I'm going to give you later on, you will see that if you can actually have a look here, I've actually put the acetate where I've got my snowflakes on top of my pattern paper because I decided to do it afterwards. What I'm going to do this time and show you how to do it is to actually decorate that part of it before we put these panels on. So there's just a few things that are different from hers, but it does fold down. The finished size is, I think, 5 inches by 7 inches, or just shy of 7 inches. You could go to 7 inches. This one is about 6.5, but I think this next one that I'm going to do will probably be a bit bigger because the elements that I've got on it are slightly bigger. So, okay, let's get started. I've done a lot of the things for you. I'm going to hold that over there, pop that over to the one side there. Now, the Christmas greeting that I've got just here is just a Merry Christmas. Now, that's an unbranded one. I might have some of those. If I have, please, and you haven't got one, please just message me on my Facebook page and I'll see what stock I've got. But they are unbranded. I did get them from China. Did get it from China, but I just love it. It's a great one. You've got to be careful cutting it out because it's fairly meticulous, but yeah, it's good. The other one that I used is another one, which is Stars and Snowflakes. And once again, I have got this one, I believe. And you just message me if you're interested in it. You can do stars, snowflakes. There's so much you can do with this particular stamp. Once again, it is an unbranded one, so I don't know who the original one was, but yeah, I've got that one there. Now, what you need for this, I'll just pop these over here and I'll talk about those a little bit more later. And let me go through some of the pieces of card and the mats and the layers for you. Now, the first piece is going to be a piece that is going to be 10.5 inches by 5 inches. Okay, now along the 10.5, don't worry about that. I started cutting it, not thinking. Along the 10.5 side, you need to score at 2.5 inches, 5 inches, 7.5 inches, and 10 inches. Along the 5-inch side, you then need to score right in the center, which is 2.5 inches right the way through. So there's piece number one, and that is the outside of the card. Now, the other piece of card is slightly smaller because this is the part that is this part here that goes inside the other one, so it's slightly smaller. So this is 10 inches, and you might, I don't know whether you can actually see it or not, but I actually started scoring this incorrectly, but because it's going to have pattern over it, it really doesn't matter. So this one is going to be 10 inches by 5 inches, and along the 10-inch side, you then need to score at, let me just get that. So you score at 2 3/8 of an inch, 4 3/4 of an inch, 7 1/8 of an inch, and 9.5 inches. Okay, and when you fold those over, they're going to make the box just there. Additional to that, you are going to need 4 square pieces. Now, I've used a glitter card on the back with a different paper on the front. Now, when you're using a paper and putting it onto a glitter or a mirror card, please make sure you always use tape. I've used tape on this one. And you need 4 of these, and these are going to be, the matte glitter is going to be 2 1/4 by 2 1/4, and you need 4 of those. The top piece, which is the layer, you'll need 4 pieces that are 2 inches by 2 inches. The next pieces that you need, you're going to need these two here. Now these two are going to go in just behind here. Okay, so those first ones are going to go around the bottom of the box here, and these two are going to be the same paper and they're going to go in there. So these two are going to be let me just have a look at my cheat sheet. 2 1/8 of an inch by 2 1/8 of an inch, and the pattern paper on top, which I've called pattern paper 1, is going to be 1 7/8 by 1 7/8. Okay, and once again stick it on with the tape. The third set that you need are going to be the ones that are going to be on here. Now you'll see that I have curved this because I think it finishes it off nicely. And to curve it, all you need to do is just have one of these, okay? It's just a corner punch. You can get them at any good craft store. So these ones initially are going to be 2 1/4 by 2 1/4, and down the bottom of each one, you need to use that punch to curve the corner. The top one is going to be 2 inches by 2 inches, and once again, down the bottom, you need to curve the corner, and you need 4 of those. So those over there. Now these ones are the ones that are going to be cut in half in a moment, and they are going to be on these. They're going to be cut into triangles. So I don't want you to, I need you to actually keep them separate and cut them before you make them into triangles. So this one is going to be 2 1/8 by 2 1/8, and the top one is going to be 1 7/8 by 1 7/8. Now what you'll see I have done here is I've actually put the tape on now, so that when I cut it, it just makes it easier to actually stick it down if you actually put the tape on first. So once you've done those, all you need to do is, I do it on my my cutter here. Now one little trick that I have found is that if you're using your cutter and you've got a pointed edge, both ends, start in the middle. Okay, so cut it that way and then come back and cut it that way, and then you have got 2 pieces like so. Once again, we do it again, once just there, bring it up, make sure that your cutter is in the middle, press down, go up one way, and then come back the other. There we go. As you can see, I didn't cut one of my pieces straight, so you could see that it wasn't right. So I cut another piece, put the tape on the back, and now I've cut it. So now I've got 4 pieces like so. All you now need to do, because you've got your tape on them, is to pull the backing off of the tape, and you can then stick your piece onto this piece here, giving that lovely border right the way around. Okie doke. So there we got our lovely little triangles there. Okay, so now basically it's a case of popping it together. So with your smaller piece, with your bigger piece, which is your 10 1/2 by 5 inches, you have got your score line down the center there. And what you now need to do is you now need to cut up, as I've started to do here without even thinking. I just measured it the other day and started cutting before, and I thought, oh, I need to do that on the video. So you cut it up to that score line on one side. Okay, so like so. Next, you need to get your folder, and you need to fold the horizontal lines, or sorry, the vertical lines, I guess. So just make them all mountain folds, and make sure that your lines are actually matching up. Okay, once they match up, use your bone folder to make sure it goes down nice and square. Okay. And the second to last one is this one here. And then this little tab just here also folds under. Now, that is going to go together like so. So what we now need to do is we now need to use our, using our corner punch, we now need to, where these are all flappy, you need to make them nice and curved on the corner. Quite simply done. Just one thing, I couldn't find my corner punch the other day. So what I used is the envelope folder, and in there is also a corner punch. So if you've got one of these but not a specific corner punch, you actually have got a corner punch in there that you can use. So once you've done that, this is going to fold in this way. So these flaps need to be folded back this way. Okay. Right, next thing we do is we now need to put some double-sided tape on here, and you can do that before you cut it. Sometimes it's just as easy. So I'm just using the red tape because I do want it to be fairly strong. So I'm going to pop that along that tab there, which is 1/2 inch. Okay, and I'll just trim that off. And then trim it off that end. That you get it in the right spot. And I've taken it off the video, but the last one didn't work. So that's why if there's a jump in the video, that's what it is. You see how it ripped because I tried to lift it, because red tape is very much unforgiving. Friend of mine, or not a friend of mine, but a lady that used to be at the craft store used to call it suicide tape. So, and I can actually quite see why, because once it's down, it's down. So making sure that if you fold it in the half, that it when it attaches to that it is square. So all you need to do is take that the top of that red tape off, fold in the center one, and oops, that didn't come off. That's better. Fold in the center there, and then fold that down. And there we have our center. Our outside box, that one will be. So that's the outside box. This is the center box we're about to do now. So I'm going to pop, we can decorate that now if you want, but I'm going to decorate it all at the end, I think. So this is the center, the box. So this is the box that's going to sit. This is this one here. We've just made that outside part there. Now, one thing you'll notice, I did actually fold all of those down. You don't necessarily need to. Last time I only folded 2 down. It really doesn't matter. It's up to you how you want the box to sit. Okay, so next we need to get your other piece, and we need to make mountain folds. Once again, making sure that they do line up out of all of those score lines. I always like to just cut little notches in the at the ends of the little tabs so that it doesn't show. Okay. Next, what we now need to do is we need to, in fact, what I have forgotten to tell you to do is on this piece, we need to measure down, there's your tab, so we need to measure down on this first one, 2.5 inches. Okay, now I did it last week and I completely forgot to tell you to do that. So on the piece that is 10 inches by 5 inches, you need on your second score line to come down to 2.5 inches. What you then need to do is grab a cork board with a ruler And from that first one, excuse me, from that first one just there, that score line just there, down to that mark that you've just made, you need to get your scorer and you need to score from that first one down to this second score line here. So your first score line is where your tab is, the second one is there. Okay, so just to that mark. And then you go up to your third score line. From that very same mark, you then go up to that third score line. Okay, now once that is done, what you now need to do is this is going to be this way, so this part has to go in. So this part is going to be a valley fold, and these two diagonal ones are going to be mountain folds. Now making sure that it goes nice and crisp just there. Just start working your card so that it's not, there we go. That's how you work it. Take that away again. And then that, once the box is together, will be, and this will go in here. Okay, so that will be there. Now, as you can see, or you might have seen, when I put this together, you can actually see it there. However, we are going to cover that just here where the tab is. We're going to cover that over anyway, but if you want to make that a even sharper corner, you can. Then you're not going to have anything showing. Okay. What I'd like to do now is, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to do it the same way as I did. You can decorate first and then put together, but I would actually like, I think I could probably do this because that's how it's going to sit. Let me just make sure that's as it should be. It's not quite straight, give it some encouragement. Now, what I would like to do is I would like to use my decorations and put them behind these other pieces. So what I've got here are my decorations, and I'm actually going to put these on before I do anything else. I'm not going to put Merry Christmas on yet. You will notice that I have got a big star that I want to go at the back, so it'll be this one here. Okay, just that bit there. So when the card is together, you can see that is the back fold. So what I've done is I've got a piece of acetate and I have literally just folded it in half. Okay, because I want it to go right along just there. I've also got a snowflake, a star, whatever you want. And I've put double-sided tape, and once again I have used red tape for this one. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to pop that onto my acetate, and the reason I have got that is so that when it folds up, it's going to go there. Okay, and the other pieces that I've done, I've actually cut some stars out and they are going to go there. Now, the reason I'm wanting them in here now is because I don't want to see the acetate like you can on here. Okay, so you can see the acetate in there and I don't really like that. So that's just me, entirely up to you how you want to decorate it. But I'm now going to put some double-sided tape onto these and stick them on before I put my panels over the top. Okay, now what we can do is we can put this piece together. So once again, we need to have some red tape down the side there. Okay, so once again, all you do is peel off your red tape, the top of your red tape, and if it's been cut correctly, fold it in half. Okay, and there we go. There is the inside of our card, which is going to sit in like so. Now it's a case of popping all the decorations on. So I'm going to pull them apart again at the moment, and the first ones that I'm going to do are going to be the square ones that have got no rounded corners, and I'm going to pop those on there all the way around. Once you pop that in there, okay, so what you now need to do is you now need to glue this part and this part, so that you're going to glue it to the front. So I'll grab my glue here and just make sure it doesn't come up too high, because you don't want it spurting over the top here. So do both sides. There we go. Once that's dried, you'll see that there is a gap at the end. You don't want to glue at the back, you only want to glue at the front so that it folds down nice and neatly. Yeah, they can stay up, but the front ones fold down. As you open it up, you've got that. Now, I've got a couple more here that I have done as well, because I think that it just needed a little bit more. So I've got some mounting tape on some of these, and I'll just take the backing off. I've got a couple of other little stars here, and I'm not going to waste them, so I think I might even put them in there. So I'm going to use, I think I might use glue for these ones. So a dab of glue on there, and that can go there, and the other one that I cut can go down here. And there we have it. Nearly forgot to put my Merry Christmas on. Now my Merry Christmas is cut out. I have put double-sided tape on there and there. Now the way I found was best to do this was to lay it flat and make sure it's nice and centered, and then take your tape off and you'll notice I've only put tape on the ends. You don't want tape anywhere else but the ends. So making sure that it's lovely and centered. And then top down the ends. And there we have it. We have Merry Christmas. We've got our lovely stars at the back, and we've got stars everywhere else as well, which is really nice. I personally really like it. It does fold down. This one is a little bit bigger than the last one. So this one in height is, oh, there you go, 7 inches. So it is actually a 5x7 card by the time you put it into an envelope. I hope you've enjoyed it. I hope you give it a try. Pop them up on the, if you do give it a try, pop it up over on my Facebook site on Aussie Cards and Crafts. love to see some of these done. Thanks to Iced Images, because the original design did come from her, and I will put her details in the blog below. Thank you for joining me. I hope to have another one done for you this weekend. Don't hold me to that, but I'll do my best. And until then, happy crafting. Thank you.